main event.
Yes, welcome back. It is episode 198, I believe. And we are back with Sports and Sorts. And I am Shane.
And I'm the Bri Man.
And we have a lot to talk about today. Actually, I mean, there's a few topics to talk about today. And that'll be, you'll kind of see where we're going with this show over the next couple episodes. And then eventually, starting in September with episode number 200, we'll be changing the show a little bit, and hopefully, I'm hoping that you guys will enjoy this the way that we do this. It's going to be broken up into 3 segments, and each one will be live, but it's going to be a little bit different. So I'm hoping that you guys enjoy that, but we'll get to that, and starting in September, at the beginning of next week, starting next Monday, we're going to be doing our NFL preview. We'll give all our picks and who's going to finish first, who's going to finish last, and all in between in the AFC and in the NFC. But today we're going to be talking about Andrew Luck, who retired. We're going to be talking about how the Bri Man went on a block. He blocked an FS1 personality. I think you guys probably all know who we're talking about because it was trending for a while. And I think a lot of people came out, even other sports personalities, like all these, like Golick and all these different ESPN people came out and basically told this guy that he was wrong. But the Bri Man was right in there yelling at the guy and telling him he's blocked. So we'll get into that. We will also talk about some other things regarding baseball. We got the Yankees. We're going to talk about the Yankees a little bit. Talk about Funko Pops. And maybe, I'm sure we'll get something else in there too. I'm sure. It always happens. But we got a great show. So let's go.
You are listening to Sports and Sorts with Shane and the Bri Man.
Now, I'm sure that you saw there that I didn't say all the different website and everything like that because our website is no longer going to be in existence as of September 1st. Lots of stuff is changing, lots of stuff, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. We don't have a website anymore. That's the www.sportsandsorts.libsyn.com. You can still go there now, check out all our previous episodes and stuff like that, but you don't have to. We also have our website, or we have a Facebook page. Facebook.com/Shane and the Bri Man. We have our Twitter page @Shane and Bri Man, where you can hit us up there. Lots of followers and all that kind of stuff, especially on Twitter. We do comment on there quite a bit. We actually gotten a little bit of a back and forth with me and Damien. For those of you that don't remember Damien, he is a guy that we use on the we used to use on the regular when he wasn't a full-time teacher. We used to talk to this guy, and he has a beautiful mind. And especially when it comes to numbers and analytics in baseball. So he and I went back and forth a little bit because Bri Man dropped a little comment about who would you rather have, Alex Bregman, or Rafael Devers from the Red Sox. Which guy would you rather have at third base for your team over the next 5 years? And I found it a fairly easy decision. And so it seems like Damien did too. It seems like he had a relatively easy decision. We just happened to be on opposite ends of the spectrum. I picked Bregman. He picked Devers. He is a Red Sox fan. I don't think that swayed his opinion too much. He does get to see Devers on a regular basis. I don't, because I don't watch the Red Sox. I'm a Yankee fan, so I watch more of the Yankees. But I do see them both about the same amount of time, and I do know that Bregman seems to be a much better defender, and he is, last year he was a top 5 MVP candidate, and this year it seems like he's going to be that again. If not, he might even win the MVP, to be honest, and he's just been playing out of his mind.
Nobody's beaten Trout, but
yeah, but you never. It's weird with Trout. It's like LeBron. It's like LeBron should win every year, but he doesn't. And Trout should win, but will he? Because people are kind of like, yeah, Trout's doing Trout things, but we got to figure out somebody else. I think he should too. I absolutely think Trout do. But even if Bregman comes in MVP 2, that's pretty darn good.
I'll tell you what. The reason I reposted that was because I thought, and I still believe, there's not really a wrong answer.
Right, yeah. I mean,
these guys, they are both, first of all, they're both in a year like this, see, it's in a weird year too, because Trout's having a Trout crazy kind of year.
Uh-huh.
Bregman's having a great year. Devers is having a great year. Bregman's having a great year for a team that's going to the playoffs. Devers is having a great year for a team that's probably going to be on the outside looking in.
And that was one of the reasons, my main reason. And I didn't want to put it in the tweet because
that goes back to that thing that we've talked about in the past is do we need to have like an MVP award and a best player award?
No.
I
don't like that. It's kind of a cop-out. I think that the MVP should go to the best player, the most valuable player in the team. And Trout might not be the most valuable player, but if they didn't have Trout, would they only win 40 games? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm of two minds of that. I really am. But I liked the question because there really is not a wrong answer. If you say Devers, okay, fine.
Yeah.
If you say Bregman, okay, fine. Both guys are very young. Devers obviously a little younger.
Mm-hmm.
So
by about 3 years.
Bregman right now entering his prime years. Devers still not even in his prime and already looks like a superstar. Mm-hmm. Both have already won a World Series, so they've got the championship. I think Bregman's been an All-Star Game MVP. I know he's a 2-time All-Star. Devers is, I think. Oh, he did not. He got snubbed this year, but he did make it in his rookie year. So I mean, these guys are both amazing players. I would have leaned with you, but by like a nose hair. I would have said Bregman too. But again, if you could give me 2 guys for any position in Major League Baseball where it was a coin flip and I really would not care which way the coin landed, it would be these 2 guys. It really would. I don't know that I could actually think of another position, other than if you want to start splitting hairs about starting pitchers. But honestly, I don't know if there's another position in baseball where I'd actually be okay with flipping a coin and having the outcome literally go either way and not being upset, no matter whether it landed on heads or tails.
Right.
I can't even I don't even think it's close. I think every other position you might be able to find a runaway guy that you'd go with. But this particular position, third base, I'd be good with either one of them. It's a great debate. And it's a great debate with no wrong answer because both guys are young. Both guys are already very accomplished. You can pretty much figure out who and what they're going to be for probably the next 10 to 15 years. And you're going to be happy with the results.
Yeah.
It's a good debate.
See, and that's my whole issue with the whole thing is that I like to look at the teams too, and the team that Bregman is a part of, he's going to have a stacked lineup that's around him, which means that he'll likely produce more.
So is Devers.
You don't know that though, because the Mookie Betts situation's still up in the air. JD Martinez is going into his age 33.
All right, so
if you want to make the argument about there is going to be a sharp decline after age 32. That he's getting into that time. So JD Martinez isn't going to have that kind of he's already declining. He's having a worse year than he did last year.
I don't know. I still think there's a lot of protection for Devers. You've got Benintendi, you've got Betts. You do still have Martinez for the time being.
But you don't have Betts for next year as of right now, right?
What's that?
You don't. Is Betts still locked in for next year? Or is he a free agent after this year?
I can't remember.
He said he wanted to test free agency, and they just haven't ponied up for him yet.
There's no way he's going anywhere. There's no way. The Red Sox will not let him go anywhere. There is zero chance. Zero.
I can never say zero about anything.
Zero.
But
you can Blutarsky that thing, man. That's a 0.0. That's just not happening. There's just no way they're letting that guy. They can't. He's one of the three faces of baseball.
Right.
If you go by Judge,
do they want to shell out
Betts,
$350 million for him?
Oh, I think it's gonna be more than that.
Right, but I'm just saying,
but
I'm saying, like, do they want to do that? Can they do that and still put out a competitive team?
I don't know what choice they have, because you having a competitive team starts with having Mookie Betts. That guy's an unbelievable player. He's already an MVP. He's already a world champion. I'm sorry,
yourself in the Mike Trout position.
And he came in second in a second MVP race. The guy is a future Hall of Famer. Let's not. And he's a great defender. Let's not mince words about what Mookie Betts is.
Probably the best right fielder in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, come on. There's no way the Red Sox are. Look, I mean, is it going to hurt the Red Sox financially? Yes, because it's gonna hurt them in terms of flexibility, and they're already in a rough spot with their payroll right now. Which is probably why they might not mind if JD Martinez does opt out and goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
They might actually be okay. I mean, they're probably not okay with it because of what JD Martinez has meant to that team and the fact that you could argue that JD Martinez should have won the MVP last year. But I think if they had to choose between those two guys, they're obviously going to choose Betts. He's their guy. He's younger.
Yeah.
He's more dynamic. JD Martinez has limitations, and JD Martinez is getting older. But I do still think, though, that Devers will have protection in that lineup.
But is he going to have as much as Houston's?
No, maybe not.
Yeah.
But maybe not as much protection.
And then you also have to look at the divisions that they're in. Like, Houston's division isn't anywhere near as tough as the Red Sox division.
But here's one of the key things too for Boston is, again, does Benintendi continue to trend upwards and become maybe the player? Actually, and I you know me, I don't really like many Red Sox. Over the course of the past X amount of years, the only Red Sox I can really remember liking was Nomar. Except for the time when Ricky Henderson was had a cup of coffee with them. But other than that, I actually love Benintendi, and I hate it. I hate liking him, but I do. I like his swing. I like his approach.
He hasn't really trended upwards. I mean, I know.
He's
kind of like flatlined at like the 280 and almost 20 home runs.
But I think the question
good outfielder though.
Could Devers fit nicely into a lineup where Benintendi and Chavez, if what we've seen out of Michael Chavez this year plays out, he could definitely be a guy who could step in, offer some more protection in that lineup. And then, like I said, you'd still have Betts, you'd still have Bogarts. I still think there's plenty of protection in this lineup for a guy like Rafael Devers. But yes, I mean, I guess
just a lot of question marks.
For the time being, I would agree with you that Houston's lineup probably offers a little bit more.
And then when that can extend your the prime time years, they're going to extend those. So I just was saying, like, if I had to choose, yes, I think Devers going to be fine.
It's a great debate because it's a splitting hairs debate.
And Damian was very much like, because I had mentioned that Devers had 18 errors, and he said, well, he had most of those at the beginning of the year. And I said, I don't care when you have them; they all count. Like, they're all bad errors.
Is this like basically picking between like two different models of a Ferrari or two different models of like a Lamborghini?
No, not really. Because I think Devers is still unproven. Like, he's having a good year this year, but he still has a crap load of errors under his belt.
He's had two really great years, to be honest. I mean, his rookie year was sensational, and then this year he's just off the charts. He just, I don't know. I'm with you. Listen, I agree with you. I would have picked Bregman, but it would have been a hair, like a literal nose hair, which I might have right here. I don't know. But that's about it. I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, your opinion and my opinion of good years are different then, because I don't think he had a very good year last year. I think he betted like low 200s. I think he had he had good power numbers, and he did it in spurts, which a lot of power hitters do. They're going to hit it in spurts, but he was okay, but he was a terrible fielder then too. So that's the only thing that I have is I have bad fielder 2 years in a row. He has to prove that he's going to be better. Maybe he just can't field in the cold. I don't know. Maybe he gets tight in the cold and he can't bend over. I don't know what it is. He's not a small dude. So I don't know what the deal is, but he made a lot of errors. It might have happened in April, whatever. And then on top of that, yes, I do think he's a good hitter, but will he have the protection around him? What will it be? I mean, I remember seeing him on MLB Network before he really started raking last year. And that was his swing was beautiful. It was a beautiful swing. Like he had the perfect plane, like the upward plane that, the attack to attack the ball in the zone. It was great, but still need more consistency. And we'll see if that translates next year. And if it does, then maybe I might change my mind. But the real deal will be in 5 years and see who had the better numbers. And I just think that over the next 5 years, you're going to have 4 years of Bregman's primetime years. He's going to put up good numbers. He's going to put up almost MVP type numbers, barring some sort of injury. And the same thing with Devers. Devers will probably put up good numbers again next year. And then he'll enter his prime in like year 24. And then he'll put up 3 good years of really good numbers. But we have to see how his defense plays out. And that could be the deciding factor. All right. So that was a fun little topic to talk about. But we were going back and forth. So I don't know what if you guys are watching or listening to the show, put in the comments who you would pick for the next 5 years. Rafael Devers from the Red Sox, third baseman, or Alex Bregman, third baseman for the Astros.
If you ask it like that,
Next
if it's
5
next
years.
5 years, I would say I would take Bregman, and it would be a little bit more than a hair. But if you're asking more long term, like 10,
10 would be Devers.
Yeah,
because then
Right.
you're
you
still have
Bregman's age.
you have the numbers that are going to come before his prime. Then you're going to have his prime time years, and then when Bregman's in his prime right now, he's in his second year in his prime.
Yeah,
so it's that would be like even 7 years. I'd probably choose Devers, because that would put Bregman at 32, which now your prime time kind of ends at year 30. That's kind of like then you start to have that decline. So where it used to be 27 to 32, and then all of a sudden that changed, and now it's like 25 to 30. So it is what it is. All right, let's move on. We kind of talked that one to death, but wow, I didn't even mean to hit that. So that's just it's champ being champ. All right, so we were going to talk about the Andrew Luck decision.
yeah. We buried the lead a little here with a Devers Bregman discussion. We should talk about Andrew Luck.
Yeah. Andrew Luck. Holy crap. You sent me a text right away. I got something about the NFL trade rumors that popped up on my screen. I was like, wow, that is pretty shocking, but not really that shocking. Like, it was shocking because he decided to do it. What's not shocking is that I almost can't blame the guy because it seems to me like, and we'll get into the whole Doug Gottlieb and everything thing later, but it seems to me like he really likes football a lot. But what he loves is time with his family and being able to be there for his family and be there mentally for his family and not be kind of depressed with all the injuries that are, lingering. Yeah. And that is a smart move. He is a smart guy. So I was shocked, but at the same time, I was kind of like, yeah, I get it. I do. I kind of get, Doug Gottlieb was obviously an idiot for the way that he phrased it. But I do understand where he's coming from because yes, physical therapy is stupid hard, especially when you have some serious injuries. Like, it is ridiculously hard, and you're constantly waking up every morning like, I'm behind the 8 ball once again. This is just like, it's like Groundhog's Day, but in a really, really, really bad way. I do not want to do this. It's going to affect your personal life, and he doesn't want to do that to his family. So I think that it is a smart move. I don't like the way that Doug Gottlieb obviously put a Twitter out there. He was like, said basically giving up is like the most millennium thing.
He said retiring because rehabbing is too hard is the most millennial thing ever.
Yeah, exactly. And that was stupid. It was a stupid way to phrase it. It was a very, trolling way to do it. So I think like, I'm not I'm not behind it. I do understand what he was trying to say, but he did it in a really negative way, and to get clicks and to get all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately for him, and hopefully he'll understand this, it was really negative. Everybody was not coming to his aid. They were all attacking him because of the way that he phrased that question, or phrased that comment on Twitter. So you basically went right at him, was like, I can't even remember what you said. It was pretty funny, but then you said blocked at the end because you block people that are kind of moronic from time to time. So what do you have to say about this whole Andrew Luck thing and Doug Gottlieb thing? You can just kind of go for it.
Well, let me first let's start with Andrew Luck first, just in general. My initial reaction to this was one of sadness.
What's up, Clint?
I remember the first thing I actually did was I texted Tim with the news, and my first reaction was, this makes me sad because I really wanted to see Andrew Luck win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Even as a Dolphins fan who doesn't really have any skin in the game when it comes to the Colts, I like seeing great players, especially great players that you can actually like and appreciate and enjoy watching them play, guys like Andrew Luck. I wanted to see him win. I like seeing great players win championships because let's be honest, that's the thing that puts the cap on your career. That's the one thing that keeps Dan Marino from being in the conversation of greatest of all time.
Yep.
And it's just one. There are still people, and you see it all the time. I see it all the time on social media, especially with a lot of the people that I follow, Dolphins-related stuff. There are still people who think Dan Marino is the greatest pure passer of all time. He may be that, but there are still people who think he's the greatest QB of all time. And the one thing that keeps it from being almost definitive is the fact that he didn't win a championship. And a guy like Andrew Luck, who could make every throw in the route, every possible throw on the football field, unbelievable intelligence, a great field general, kind of the similar smarts to a guy like a Peyton Manning, but also a gamer and a warrior and a guy who just loved playing the game. There was one little like video package that I saw somebody had put together. It was Andrew Luck getting not sacked, but it was really more like knocked down. Mm-hmm. And every single time, like there must have been, I don't know, 15 or 20 of these clips. And like whoever hits him, Andrew Luck's like, "Oh, that's a good hit. Oh, nice hit, big boy." Woo! He'd be like, "Woo, man, you've been dogging me all game. That's a big time hit." Like that,
yeah.
Like he would be complimenting these guys who are knocking him on his ass.
Yeah.
And it was just, like, that just goes to show you though, like his love of the game. Like he could appreciate like somebody getting to him and getting a clean hit on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
very much in the Brett Favre manner. Yeah. Like very much.
He was just that kind of guy, I mean, he wasn't like, and I'll be the first to admit, like, even as a Dan Marino fan, Dan Marino did not like getting hit. No. He would trash his offensive linemen. He would yell at the guys who hit him. Now, I liked that too, though, because it showed a competitive fire, and we all know Dan Marino was like that. But
that's why we both like Phillip Rivers.
But Andrew Luck had a love and an appreciation for this game that is, I think, rare, especially in the modern day athlete who is, really concerned about his brand more so than he is the team and the results on the field. You got so many guys who are just, I mean, what have we been hearing about for the last 2 weeks about Antonio Brown bitching about a helmet that doesn't fit him? And now he's got all these helmet companies, coming out and being like, "Oh, here, we can customize a helmet for you that's within NFL regulations. Where our helmet? Like, what are we doing?" Like, if Doug Gottlieb wanted to go after something stupid like that, that's what he should have done. Instead of going after a guy like Andrew Luck, who has been an ambassador for the NFL and represented the NFL very, very well, and who has been one of its premier players. Now, but hold on, before I get to Gottlieb again, though, but let me just say real quick on Andrew Luck. It was surprising for me on two different levels, the announcement. And I understand where you're coming from on like why you were, but also were not surprised. I get it. because the guy has been dealing with a rash of injuries for the last few years, one of which really we thought was career-threatening, which was...
And then he came back and had one of his best years ever.
Right, so he gets comeback player of the year, and he plays in the Pro Bowl last year, and he goes into the offseason feeling good. So that was one surprise, because the way the season ended for him last year ended well.
Yep.
Didn't reach their ultimate goal, but still they were set up very well with a ton of cap space.
Nice coach.
And they made some moves.
Nice head coach.
Their offensive line is fortified. They've got a really good they've got a really good head coach in Frank Reich. And a guy that they love. Everything is, a good young defense. Mm-hmm. Everything is there for the Colts. Everything was there. So it's surprising on two levels. One, he ended last season in relatively good health and feeling well, or at least we thought. And two, he's going into this season with a team that many people thought, like if you had to list the top 3 teams in the AFC in no particular order, you probably would have gone Colts, Chiefs, Patriots in no particular order. The actual order might have gone more like Patriots, Chiefs, Colts, but you would have to admit that those 3 teams are probably your top 3 teams, most likely, in terms of viability to win a Super Bowl in 2019, 2020. Mm-hmm. So those in those 2 ways, it's shocking to me. All right, so now on to Doug Gottlieb. Okay, so let's just read that tweet again. This was the tweet. This was a couple days ago after the announcement. Retiring because rehabbing is quote-unquote too hard is the most millennial thing ever. Hashtag Andrew Luck. Okay, look. I love picking on millennials. We all do, right? It's fun. It's low hanging fruit. Okay, picking on millennials is occasionally enjoyable because we have this sort of stereotype about millennials and who they are and what they are and how they operate. And okay, listen, it's fun. It's a little bit of fun sometimes to poke fun. We poke fun at each other. You and I poke fun at people our age, 40-year-olds. Listen, every generation you make fun of in some way, shape, or form, right? Mm-hmm. So millennials are just the newest one for us to pick on. But this was just a dumb take. It was just a stupid take. Because you realize, like Doug Gottlieb, who, has been around for a while. By the way, I also thought it was a little bit ironic that a guy like Doug Gottlieb, who, when he was younger, committed credit card fraud, is going out and attacking guys like Andrew Luck, saying it's too hard to rehab. Hey, Doug, was it too hard for you to get an actual job like the rest of us? You have to go commit credit card fraud so you can pay your bills and get by in life?
I thought that was going to come up.
Yeah, of course it's going to come up. Low-hanging fruit. So it just was a stupid take. And yes, he's being called out on it by everybody. Troy Aikman being, I think, the most prevalent guy to go after him.
Oh, he hammered him.
Oh, he hammered him hard.
I bet Troy Aikman is on his show soon. Because I bet you they're going to have a little discussion about it. I bet you. I almost guarantee it will happen.
Well, let's see if Gottlieb's got the stones to actually invite him on.
It's not even stone. It's just like it's more of a show. Like they don't care that. I would imagine Doug Gottlieb doesn't care that much. He would do it for ratings. If he's going to say tweets like that, he's obviously going to do it for ratings. I mean, what's that guy's name? Jim Rome. He does crap like that all the time.
Oh, yeah,
so I wouldn't say Doug
for that stuff.
I wouldn't say Gottlieb is in the same light as him, but obviously he's close to that. I mean, if he's going to throw out tweets like that,
he's not that level of fame.
No, not even close to that level of fame. Jim Rome at his peak was like one of the prime guys that were people. And he kind of fell off because it got old, it got stale.
He was sort of like the young Howard Stern of that time, especially during the whole Jim Everett thing, which I'm
Chris Everett.
Yes, the Chris / Jim Everett thing, which is still. I love watching that. It's so great because Jim Everett warned him. He's like, "You call me that one more time,
I'm gonna hit you."
I'm gonna hit you. And he did.
And he punched him. He knocked him. Didn't he knock him over like off his chair? Like around off his chair?
Pushed him. I think he pushed him off the chair or something like that. And he was like, "I told you I was gonna
do it. Don't do it, you moron."
But here's the problem that I have with this too is that Doug Gottlieb is clearly, like you just said, this was a sort of a salacious tweet where he was looking for reactions like this, and he got it. He went out and he played villain on Twitter, and he got what he wanted. because now there's going to be more attention drawn to him, which is exactly what he wanted. Because it just falls under that, any attention is good attention, right? There's no such thing as, PR is PR.
In the media, yeah.
Yeah, and because media guys, especially nowadays, are also unto themselves their own brand. Stephen A. Smith is a brand. I mean, he's his own entity.
Yeah.
It's not like there used to be a time when
whether it's good or bad, it still gives you ratings.
There used to be a time, when media was really just the conduit between us and athletes or us and celebrities. Now, media members are celebrities. And I think it started kind of back in the, I think a lot of it had to do with guys like Howard Cosell, who were pioneers, and had such incredible personalities.
Yeah. I mean, it really made its light when, Berman and all those guys at ESPN really started coming up with their own catchphrases and all that kind of stuff.
Right. When you in the heyday of like Berman, Craig Kilborn, the late, great, immortal Stuart Scott, who I still love to this day.
Dan Patrick.
Rich Eisen, Dan Patrick. Yeah. Those shows you tuned in to watch those guys. You tuned in.
Throw their catchphrases around and all. Yeah.
So you could hear Stuart Scott say,
"Cool as the other side of the pillow."
This is as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Yeah.
But that's But
they would throw down the Wu-Tang Clan lines every once in a while. Yeah, it's great. But
I'm gonna give Doug Gottlieb the same line that Lloyd Benson once gave to Dan Quayle, where he said, "Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy." Doug Gottlieb, you're no Howard Cosell. Doug Gottlieb, you're no Dan Patrick. Doug Gottlieb, you're no Rich Eisen. You're not any of these guys.
No.
You're a fucking nobody.
Whoa!
Well, we're dropping F-bombs. Sorry, I meant to say earmuffs, but it just I couldn't stop the F-bomb from coming out before I could pause myself to say earmuffs. But listen, he's not.
Coming in hot.
Doug Gottlieb is one of those guys. He's like a fringe media guy that you kind of sort of know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not even like on Mike Francesa level.
He fills in for Colin Cowherd every once in a while.
Who? Colin Cowherd, by the way. That's another clown show.
No, he's good. He used to be good. He is a smart man, and he knows how to work his audience.
He knows college football. That's what I'll say about Colin Cowherd. He knows college football.
The thing that you and I don't appreciate about him is that he just kind of totally gave up on baseball about 10 years ago. And he doesn't, when he tries to talk about baseball, you can see all the holes in his knowledge because he just doesn't follow it much anymore.
I just think
football, he knows football in general. He's very good in football.
But I think a guy like Colin Cowherd is sort of the epitome of that, what I was talking about earlier. Guys who get a little too big, they become a brand, they get a little bit too big for their britches, and then they kind of they get weird. Like Colin Cowherd got weird to me. Sort of became like a parody of himself.
A little bit.
And it was just like, your show is, I don't know. It just wasn't, there wasn't anything enjoyable about it.
I think he's a good storyteller. I really like it. I think he's very entertaining. I don't always agree with everything that he says, but I do think he's entertaining. Yeah. I actually have a couple of books. I read a couple of his books, very entertaining as well. He is a smart man. But yeah, I mean, he's towards the end of his career, kind of. Like he's definitely on the back half. He is kind of a little bit of a parody of himself, but that's what happens. I mean, look at John Sterling. I love John Sterling, but he is like with those home run calls and all that stuff. Like it's just almost going through the motions with him from now. Like so, it's the same. I don't know.
Here's how I describe John Sterling to non-Yankee fans. He's an idiot, but he's our idiot. That's kind of what he is. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's
not that much of an idiot. He's fun. He's fun. He's a homer. I like it.
A clown, whatever you want. I don't care what you want. But I don't care what you want to call him. But he's whatever that is. He's whatever that adjective is. But he's ours. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. And honestly, and it's strange. Maybe I have Stockholm syndrome or something. But if there's a Yankee game on and I could listen to it on Sirius XM maybe. And get a much clearer signal, but not necessarily have it be the broadcast. Like it could be the opposing team's broadcast and not the Yankees one. I'll still actually put on AM 660, deal with a little bit of static, just because I'm still more comfortable with Sterling and Waldman. And I can't stand either of them.
I don't like Waldman.
Especially Susan Waldman, who I refer to as the Wicked Witch of the East, because I just can't stand her.
She's annoying. She's She does what she's supposed to do, but she's annoying. Yeah, I agree.
Boy.
I like Sterling just because he's a
John!
homer. He's a
John. Oh, it's really.
Tell us that story about the time you were watching the opera.
John, do you remember when Roger Clemens was in George Steinbrenner's box? Oh God. Oh my God. It's just not. It's not fun. But anyways, look.
Andrew Luck.
Doug Gottlieb. Everything you're getting right now, you deserve. Because look, like if you want to play, like I don't mind when people play devil's advocate. I do it a lot, but doing it for the sake of doing it, because you're trying to draw attention to yourself and not because you really feel like you actually have a good take on this, that to me is kind of like reprehensible. And it's irresponsible, because I don't really think for a second that Doug Gottlieb thinks that what he wrote in that tweet was legitimate. I really don't. I really don't think he is using this as a opportunity to attack millennials and then also attack, Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Has there been anything about Andrew Luck that screams like the typical millennial stereotype to you?
No.
Or, I don't know. It was just stupid. And there's one other thing I want to talk about too, real quick, about Andrew Luck. And this is directed at Colt fans and I'll read a tweet that I sent to them, because there was a video showing, there was a video a couple of years ago when he was talking, Andrew Luck was talking to Chuck Pagano on the sideline, and he wanted to desperately get back into the game because he didn't want to look like he was leaving the game with his tail tucked between his legs. And Pagano's like, listen, I can't put you back out there. We've got to focus on next week. We've got to concentrate more on that. He's like, I appreciate where you're coming from, but I just can't let you do it. And so then I retweeted that. And I said, yeah, go ahead and F yourselves, Colts fans. You didn't deserve this warrior. Best wishes, Andrew. You'll be missed, but your health, life, and family are all that matter. Thanks for the memories. And you know what? I don't know what Colts fans were thinking.
Come on.
It's a really hard thing to defend.
They're fans. They're drunk. They're super it's just, there's so much. I mean, come on.
I think what happened was, if you want to try and defend
fan
them,
is short fanatic. I mean, that's what it is. So, I mean, that's what they are, and that's what they're doing. They obviously, and when they look back at it, they'll probably be like, man, we really missed that guy. And that's what that really comes down to, is that they're going to miss him.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But to me, my reaction to that, regardless of, would just not be to boo though. Like I would either do one of two things. I would either do nothing and just sort of maybe sullenly watch the guy walk off the field for the last time, or I would clap and basically show my appreciation, because booing just would not enter into my conscience.
Well, my first thing would probably
enter into yours. I really don't think it would.
At first I'd be like, are you kidding me?
Oh, but yeah, fine.
Are you kidding me? Like, sure. We built our team around you, and now you're just gonna walk away? Like, we spent so much money on you. We bought all those jerseys. We did all this to try and help you be you, and like now you're just gonna walk away from us? Like, that sucks. But at the same time, like I said at the beginning, I applaud him for doing what he feels right for him and his family. Like, because that's ultimately what it comes down to.
But even in that quick moment, you were able to process, like, okay,
I would never boo. I wouldn't boo, but I would drop some bombs. I would be like, I would throw out things that might make other people boo.
I could even imagine you like reading it. You're in the stadium. You're going through your social media. You're reading it. You're looking on the field. You're seeing him kind of yuck it up with his teammates, and then you're like, what the? And then all of a sudden, but then thankfully the human brain is such a wonderful muscle that it processes things very quickly. Mm-hmm. And you're able to say, you know what? I get it. This is one of those live and let live situations. Mm-hmm. The guy needs to do what's best for him and for his family. And so I'm going to stand up now and I'm going to applaud, because that's the right thing to do. That's the only thing to do. Again, unless you just want to sit there quietly and sort of, sulk in your misery, and, that's fine. But booing should never have been an option.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give those people a pass. You had enough time to process what was going on there.
What was
that
more
booing should have never entered into your conscience.
What was more shocking to you? Andrew Luck retiring or Barry Sanders retiring?
Andrew Luck, only because Barry
so
Sanders,
early in his career?
No.
Huh?
No, the Barry Sanders one was less shocking to me. Even though Sanders was relatively healthy, Barry Sanders was obsessed with how his dad thought about him and how much his dad loved and appreciated Jim Brown, who also retired early. Barry Sanders, I think, retired early because he wanted to sort of model himself after Jim Brown. Leave at the peak of your game when no one can question you, when no one can say he left because he saw the writing on the wall that he wasn't there anymore. No, instead, he left at the peak of his game, and he left the debate open for people to say, is this guy the greatest we've ever seen? It's hard to argue against, because look at the time when he left. When he left, he was on top of his game. He was completely in his prime. Yeah, he might have been 30, but he was still like,
rushed for
Barry
about
Sanders,
1,500 yards in his last season.
The guy was going to, because he left on top.
Right.
He was going to give you 2 to 3 more premium years. I think that cat came from your house, not mine.
Yes, it did.
He was going to give you 2 to 3 more prime years of Barry Sanders before maybe you would have started to see the wheels come off the wagon a bit. But instead, he left at the peak, just like Jim Brown did. And that didn't surprise me, because I know how much Barry Sanders' dad was obsessed with Jim Brown, and in turn how much Sanders then also became obsessed with sort of modeling himself after Jim Brown. So that was actually less surprising to me.
I just pulled up his numbers. There was in 1993, he was 25 years old. He only played 11 games and rushed for over 1,000 yards.
Yeah. Yep.
He rushed for 1,115 yards.
If you had put a guy
Insane.
like Barry Sanders behind even like one of those Cowboys,
That's not even his best year. His best year was in 97, the year before he retired.
Yeah.
And he 2,053 yards.
With a lot of running backs, we often say, well, a great running back is still only as good as his offensive line. Barry Sanders was the exception to that rule. He really was, because
He was so impressive.
his offensive lines were really never that great.
Yeah, he would just spin around and go
They
that
were
way.
they weren't
He was a pinball machine.
They weren't horrible offensive lines, but they were average
Better than a
offensive
pinball
lines.
machine.
That's why I say, if you had ever stuck him behind any of those offensive lines that Emmitt Smith had,
Oh gosh.
and that's why I don't like Emmitt Smith is the greatest ever. I don't think so, because I think if you look at a guy like Barry Sanders,
He was
I don't know how you
fortunate.
can compare the two.
Emmitt Smith was fortunate for.
Yeah, well,
his
Emmitt
career,
Smith won 3 championships. He is the NFL rushing leader.
He had one of the best offensive lines of all time.
Maybe the greatest offensive line ever, that created Grand Canyon-sized holes for him.
Do I think he was a good running back? Yeah, I do.
Of course he was.
Yeah.
He was great in college.
Yeah.
He was great in the pros. No question about it. He's in the conversation.
Oh yeah.
But I think Barry Sanders was better.
Oh, I
do.
I do too. I agree with that. I mean, Emmitt Smith was more well-rounded because he had better hands, but it wasn't like it was different. It's different. Barry Sanders was just something. That
was a marvel. He was just a
he did things that no other running back could do. Like, he was just incredible.
No, I mean
I used to love watching Thurman Thomas run. Like, because he was fun. I know you didn't, but he was fun to watch. But Barry Sanders was next level. Like, when Thanksgiving came around and you got to see him play every Thanksgiving, you were just kind of like I get to watch Barry Sanders.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was like a real holiday treat.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
The nightmares.
It's with Scott Mitchell and Herman Moore.
Right, Scott Mitchell and Herman Moore.
Herman Moore was good. He was good.
No, he was good. He was a good player.
Yeah, he was.
Ugh. You had to mention Thurman Thomas, though.
Thurman Thomas, he's my man.
Oh, I still have nightmares about him with those screen passes against the Dolphins in the AFC Championship game. Oh my God!
Great hands.
The Dolphins would have the Bills in like so many 3 and shorts, 3 and 4s, 3 and 5s, And Thurman Thomas, there he was, getting that little dump off from Jim Kelly, and off to the races he'd go. That offensive line they would execute that play to perfection.
Get a good 12 to 15 yards every time.
Oh, yeah, chunk yardage, as they call it. And you just drove me nuts. Oh. Thurman Thomas.
Because they had good receivers, too. Lofton, Reed.
2 Hall of Fame receivers. Yeah. They had a Hall of Fame running back, 2 Hall of Fame receivers, and a Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean,
and a lot of Hall of Famers on defense.
And imagine that they did not win a Super Bowl with that team. Unbelievable.
Let's not go there.
Oh, all right. I had to pay you back a little.
Thanks. So do you want to get in the Yankees for a little bit?
Sure.
We can talk about the Yankees for a few minutes. So
the state of the Yankees.
We have last night they won. Close game. Started it off like gangbusters. I think there was 7 runs scored in the first 2 or 3 innings. And then it kind of petered off for a little while and ended up 5-4. Ford, who used to play for the Mariners for a short while, he ended up kind of giving us the victory yesterday.
Yes,
he's had a very good week. He's got 4 bombs in the week, which is pretty good. And this is just one of those years that these no-name people like Talkman and Ford and even Gio Urshela have been just coming to play.
It has been an amazing season in that regard, and yet it's still painful to me because I still just in any other year I would look at this Yankees team and just be. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do actually love this Yankees team, but I would be really so excited about what's to come in October because I would say this team just has special written all over it. When you consider the injuries, when you consider everything that they have had to endure, it just looks like one of those Yankee years when they would win a World Series. And yet, you find it very hard to believe, I do anyway, that they can even come close to winning a championship this year, not because they couldn't possibly get by a team like the Dodgers, which I think look, I don't want to take too much from a late August series in LA, but listen, you won 2 out of 3 and you actually should have you should have probably swept that series, to be honest. So I don't want to but let's be honest. How are they getting by the Astros? Somebody has to explain that to me because I'm not going to believe it until I see it.
Yeah.
I just don't see a scenario under which at best, they are not down 2-1 after having to go through Verlander, Cole, Greinke. I don't see a scenario how they could possibly be better than 1 win, 2 losses.
They got to get hot at the right time. They have to get hot at the right time. And that's really what it comes down to. If they can get hot at the right time, they can hang with any team. They can beat any team. So I think that it depends. It really depends on what their rotation looks like going into that series, what their what their lineup is doing in that series. Like right now with Gary Sanchez playing, I mean, he can't seem to hit anything unless he hits a home run.
I want to talk about the rotation actually because I want to. So I think we all know because I want to try and piece together what I think would be their rotation in a let's call it a long playoff series. Let's say a 7-game as opposed to a 5. I don't think there's any doubt that Tanaka takes the ball game 1, and there shouldn't be any question about that. He should be the guy. To me, he should 100% be the guy because I know
he steps up in big games. Yeah,
he does step up. He steps up in big games, and he's probably. I mean, listen, the home run ball is always a factor with Tanaka, but given his postseason record, if you look at his last, if I'm remembering this correctly, his last 5 postseason starts. I want to say he's 3-2 with a 1.5 ERA.
I can pull it up for you.
And a pretty outstanding walk to strikeout ratio. I think at that now here's where it gets interesting. Because do you want to go righty, lefty, righty? Or do you really want to trot out your 2 best guys first? So do you want to go Tanaka, Herman? And listen, Domingo Herman, you say whatever you want about that guy, but that guy this year has won, in my opinion, 2 very important games. Mm-hmm. One, the Sunday night baseball game against the Red Sox, when the Red Sox were looking to sweep 4 games in Boston. And instead of being down 9 games to the Yankees, they would have only been down 7. And that would have changed things because 7 games at that time of year, because I think that was a late July series, that would have been a very different story. It could have been a very different story. That could have really slingshotted the Red Sox into a run if they had swept that series and were down 7. Mm-hmm. Instead, Domingo Germán does what an ace would do, goes into Boston, strikes out 9 or 10 guys, gets the Yankees to a win. He pitched, he had a lot of strikeouts. He gave up a couple runs, but he played the role of stopper. He stopped the bleeding. And instead of that being a 7-game lead, it was a 9-game lead. You walked out of Boston leading 9 games. You allowed them to pick up 2, which sucked, but you stopped the bleeding. It could have been way, way worse. Second big game was just this game the other night in LA. Because the Yankees were reeling. They lost 4 straight games. They had lost that game to Cleveland, and then they lost 3 against Oakland in Oakland. And then he takes the ball. Was it in the last game? It was game 3. It was a game 3 of the Dodger series to get them to to take 2 out of 3, and kind of salvage what was a pretty crappy,
I was on vacation, and I was in New Hampshire, so I couldn't watch the game.
It was a pretty crappy, let's be honest, it was a pretty crappy swing out to California. Mm-hmm. But you know what? You took 2 of 3. So you went 2-4 in California because you lost 3 to Oakland and you lost 1 to LA. But you took 2, and he gets you that series win against the Dodgers. And I think for the Yankees psyche, showing that they could go into LA and win big games, they're not huge games, not in terms of, look, the Yankees still have a 9.5 game lead on Tampa, 15.5 game lead on Boston or whatever. It's not the division that you're worried about.
Right.
It's setting yourself up confidence-wise for the postseason. And now the Yankees have to believe, even with their diminished roster, that they could go into LA and win. Now that's putting the cart before the horse, though, because again, that's a World Series matchup, and that's all that is. The bigger problem is getting to the World Series. I think we all know that, because Houston is an absolute animal that is 100%, built for the postseason. And the Yankees are not. The Yankees bullpen is built for the postseason, but the question is, how do you get there? How do you get that? There's a bridge that has to get you over to that. And that bridge is rickety, because even at his best, Tanaka is still not Cole or Verlander. At his best, Domingo Germán is still a relative unknown. And James Paxton, who is maddening, he drives me to want to drink heavily.
Oh, bridge over troubled water.
Oh, there you go. Very nice. Okay. I was a little... I thought you were maybe just applauding my rant. But
no. I would never do that.
But here's the question. So let's just go back to the original question. If you're building your postseason starting 3, and let's be honest, because you're talking about a top 3 guys.
I disagree with you about Tanaka, though. His postseason, you're talking... He's 3-2, but it's like his career, his ERA in the postseason is like 1.5. Like it's ridiculous.
That's what I said.
Right.
I said he was 3-2, 1.5.
But
it's crazy.
But you can't say that he's not up to Verlander and Cole in a big game. Like you can't get much better than that.
You can't, all right. If you want to just compare postseason resumes,
right? Yeah.
And look at recent ones. Yeah, okay, Tanaka's probably there. He's in that conversation. But you got to look at I'm looking at the whole body of work here.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So now listen, the Yankees do the one thing about this Yankee team I will say is that there is not a lot of quit in them. And the one thing that I do like a lot about this Yankee team is that they've never really sustained a really long losing streak. Yes, they lost. Actually, them losing those 4 straight games, 1 to Cleveland, 3 to Oakland, might be their longest losing streak of the year. I don't even know.
Pretty brutal.
I don't know if they've lost more than 4 in a row.
But not a bad if that's your worst.
But look how they bounced back from it, though. Now they've won 3 of their last 4. So they bounced back quite nicely, actually, from that. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing I like about this. What do you want to call that? Resiliency?
Yes.
That's what they're 100% a resilient team. And I have no doubt.
And they show that over and over again on the regular during their regular season.
Even though I don't care about stuff like this, I have no doubt that Aaron Boone should win Manager of the Year, because he has been the Manager of the Year this year. I don't even have any question about that.
Savage.
Because if you look at how if you look at how he has navigated this team through these injuries, it's really impressive. It's really impressive for a second-year manager to be able to do that. And also to show some fire like he has this year. I know that might get him in a little bit of hot water with umpires, but I actually love that guy's willing to jump out of the dugout and start yelling at umpires and tell them you need to be better because he's right.
My team is a savage.
And I know of all the people, you agree with this because I know how much you are disgusted by Major League Baseball umpiring these days. And I know you must love it. I know I love it.
Aaron effing Boone with his team of effing savages.
I love when managers go out of the dugout and get their money's worth. When they get tossed, I want them to get their money's worth out of it. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love guys going out there barking at. I used to love the days like Earl Weaver kicking dirt on umpires. Those were real managers, man. I love that stuff. I love Aaron Boone. I love Aaron Boone going out there and being like this demonstrative guy. Especially, remember that one last year with the balls and strikes where he like kneeled down in the catcher's position and he's like, this is a strike. This is where the pitch was. I love that stuff. I love it because that gets a team fired up. You have guys like Brett Gardner who want to run through a brick wall for you or who want to bang the roof of the Yankee dugout for you. And now you've got all these dents in the Yankees dugout, which is great. It's like this battle scar. The Yankees are they're kind of a rugged, gritty team. And they've had to be this year to sustain all these injuries. I'm not going to romanticize them too much because they still have a payroll that's well north of $200 million. But let's be honest.
But you do feel like if one of these guys like gets thrown at, that like this team would run through the wall for another team.
Absolutely would. CC would be out there swinging at people. Bad knee and all, he'd be out there swinging at people. I mean, I have like no doubt about it. Swinging wildly. But he'd be out there like Graham Lloyd in 96, just throwing haymakers around. Just right, exactly. It wouldn't look pretty, but he'd just be out there swinging like a nut. Him and Strawberry and those teams. Like, I loved those Yankee teams because they were all like that, man. They all went to battle.
And our biggest guy, Aaron Judge, would be like, break it up, guys. Break it up.
Yes. Judge would be Jeter. He'd be like, let's maintain calm. Like that. Yeah, that would be Judge. That would be him. The biggest, most scary statuesque guy would be out there like, let's be peaceful. You guys go over there and kumbaya this thing out. I'm going to go talk to this guy. Everything's going to be okay.
As he's pulling the whole team back.
Does anybody want a pumpkin spice latte? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Aaron Judge just doesn't. Listen, that's not his personality. That wasn't Jeter's personality either.
No.
But you know
Jeter would stay in the dugout and laugh at people.
Him and A-Rod would be sitting there scratching each other's asses in the dugout. Hey, look at those idiots fighting. Look at Strawberry out there getting, Hey, thanks, Daryl, for doing our dirty work. I mean, Yeah, I didn't like guys like that. I liked guys who were out there fighting. You want guys who are out there in the scrum because those are the guys,
The cheeks hurt.
Whatever. But the bottom line is, it makes me it saddens me a little bit because I look at this Yankee team and I'm struggling to see that path to the World Series. Mm-hmm. I really am. I just don't know how they get through Houston. I really don't. Houston is just one of those teams that is just built for postseason play. They really are. They're so well constructed for that. And their lineup is, oh my God, it's obscenely dangerous. It's unreal.
You know what else is extremely dangerous?
What's that?
The Funko Pop that has Clint in the mouth of Jaws. That's what I said. Quint.
Clint.
No, not Clint. Quint.
Bruce was eating Clint.
No, well, Clint's on a plane. Quint was in the mouth of a shark.
That's on a plane? Did I miss something?
Yeah, he said plane taking off, TTYL.
Okay. Well, all right. Cool.
Come on, Clint. Spring for the Wi-Fi while you're flying.
Why are you not listening to us on Wi-Fi? Come on. You can swing it. I know you can.
I've seen that epic film room that you have. Come on. You got the coin. Let's go.
You're not kidding anybody here.
Anyway, so we were talking about earlier, like how he was mentioning this Funko Pop that's out there, and and Bri Man, if you don't know, is a Funko Pop junkie.
Oh my
God. He's got.
You can actually see him over. There's quite a few right here in this area.
Yeah.
You can't see, but there are literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's like 15 of them right here, like literally right next to me. Actually, I think you can see the corner of a box.
You can.
Here.
He's got Annabelle. He's got the nun.
That's Castiel from Supernatural. Oh, you want to see the nun?
Yeah. Well, we don't want to put her on the screen too long.
None of your business. Yeah, that's right. If you know the demon's name though, you hold dominion over it. There's Annabelle. So
he's got all sorts of great ones over there. He loves him some Funko Pops, and he has a bunch of Jaws ones as well.
Oh, I got the whole suite of Jaws ones when they came.
The one with the boat and everything, right? Is that what they have one?
There's not one with a boat.
Oh, no. That was a Lego set. That was a Lego set. That's right.
So there's Quint.
Yeah.
All right, you get Quint. Hooper. Okay. Chief Brody with the chum and the cigarette in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's got chum in his mouth?
And then you've got two different sharks. This shark with the tank in his mouth.
Epic.
And then there's this shark, which is just the shark sans tank. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then, as I'm putting these back,
Those are big pops.
So then I go over to Newberry Comics this past week, and I'm just walking along, la-di-da, and all of a sudden I spot a Jaws Funko Pop, and it's the scene of Quint being eaten by the shark.
It's pretty epic. And he's got blood all around its mouth.
Blood around the shark's mouth. Blood coming out of Quint's mouth. Quint's got the bandana on. He's got the machete in his hand. He's trying to stab at the shark. It's like, I'm like, oh my God, I have to have this. I flipped the thing over, $49.99. And of course, the wife is with me too on this particular trip. Shit, what am I going to do about this? I can't justify $50 on a Funko Pop, for which I already have 2 of these sharks. Okay. I'm like, I had no
You're going to have to take one of those sharks, and you're going to have to buy a Quint,
so
throw him in the mouth, paint around the mouth.
Girls are looking at me like, you're going to buy this, right? And I'm like, I want to, but your mother's here. There's just no way. I'm like, at $50, I can't justify it. I just could, and I didn't get it. And I don't know if I'm proud of myself or pissed at myself. I'm somewhere in the middle of that emotion. I just don't know. But and if you look it up, and I will pull it up actually as we're talking, just so the watching audience is assuming.
Clint's back, by the way.
That's back. Oh, good. He sprung for the Wi-Fi, cheap bastard. So let's here it is. Here is the Funko Pop.
Oh, here, let me get you on the full screen here. There you go.
Quint in the shark's mouth, blood coming out of the shark, blood around Quint's mouth. I mean, you're talking some tremendous detail here. Maybe a little bit too much detail, some might say. There's a lot going on here. I don't even know if I need to hold it up any longer, but
yeah,
I think you get the gist of it. And I just could not will myself to spend the $50 on this thing. I just couldn't do it. Now, I still have to have it. It's just a question of how and when. I'm fairly certain that thing is not going to. That thing is still probably going to be in the store because I don't know if there's anybody out there who's going to be spending $50 on these. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to check Hot Topic too. I gotta figure out a way to get it. But man, oh man, that's one hell of a Funko Pop. I mean, you're talking about like my second favorite all-time movie and like one of my favorite scenes ever in a movie, and it's immortalized in a Funko Pop, and I don't have it. It makes me upset.
Clint writes, I'll find him for $3, but I'll catch him and kill him for $10.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. I mean, as you can see in my background, like right over there. Here, let's see if I can get myself on the full screen here.
Got that original movie poster there.
Yeah, right up there.
It's tremendous.
Me and you, we saw it together.
We did?
In a theater just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, because that would have been for like the 35th anniversary.
Something like that, yeah.
Because it came out in 70. It came out in 75.
Mm-hmm. And they had like some trivia and stuff before, which was kind of lame trivia.
So actually that would have been the 40th anniversary. Sorry, 40th anniversary that we would have seen that for. Because that would have been in 2015 when we went together to see that.
Was it that long ago? Holy cow.
Yeah, because this next year will be the 45th.
It doesn't feel like that long ago.
Oh yeah, see, I'm seeing it on the screen now. Yeah, it's just awesome. Just such great attention to detail by Funko Pop. I'll tell you what, man, Funko it's really cool. I love it. I mean, here's Dr. Evil. Little Dr. Evil with what's the cat's name there? Mr. Bigglesworth.
Dr. Evil.
Legolas. Look at Legolas being cool, right? Of course, you know how much I love historical figures, guys like George Washington. So you know I've got Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. You want to check out some Honest Abe? There's an Honest Abe one. Look at that guy. Look at that. Only at Target.
Hey, Clint, as a kid, I looked almost exactly like Alex Kittner.
Did you really?
I did, yeah.
Do we have any proof of that? I would love to see that.
I'll see if I can get something together.
Steve from Stranger Things with his ahoy.
You got to move it more in front of your face because we're on split screen right now. That's good. That's good.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I counted them the other day actually, and I just got a Babe Ruth one too. That was awesome. It's actually it's Babe Ruth in the road grays, and he's calling his shot, so he's pointing out to center field. Great Funko Pop, really well done. Yeah, I counted them the other day. Like not just mine, but also the kids. I mean, we've got to have like close to 150 of these things. It's nuts. Maybe more.
It's a lot. It's a lot of pops.
It's a lot. It's a lot of money too when you think about like. It's one of those things that I
try not to think about it.
Yeah, I try not to think about it. I don't want to know how much what I could have gotten with this. Like, could this have been could this have paid off a car?
You could have gotten a bigger boat.
I could have gotten a boat. Yeah. They're fun though. They're a fun thing to collect. I enjoy them. I really do. Good times. Get yourself some Funko Pops.
Yeah. I have some. But they're all unboxed though. And they're in my son's room and I got some pops. I got some pops around. Actually, you know what? Some of them are just in the basement. Maybe I'll bring them up. I'll put them on the shelf. Move some stuff around. I don't need to have
there are literally right here in this portion of the basement, 49 right next to me and behind me, and then there's another 6. So I have 55 of them just down here. It's crazy.
That is a lot. I think I might have 20.
Yeah.
Might.
Do you keep them in the box or do you take them out?
I took several of them out because I gave them to my kids and let them kind of mess around with them a little bit. The
kids take, for the most part, take theirs out of the box.
But then I have some that are in the basement in a plastic box that are in the box still. Oh,
very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some out there that are crazy expensive. There's one that I really want, which I'm never going to get. It's like the Superman. It's from Man of Steel, where he's in the black.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
It's like $500. I'm like, okay, let's not be.
That's ridiculous. Well, on that, we are out. We will be coming back again probably Friday. Actually, you know what? Next Monday, I'm not going to be here. It's Labor Day. Isn't it?
Yes, correct. Yes.
So we're not going to even do a show on Monday. Crud. Maybe we can do it on Tuesday? Maybe?
Yeah, we can do it on Tuesday again.
All right, because next Monday I'm playing golf. Forgot. I'm playing golf and I have to drive 40 minutes. And
are we doing a show this Friday or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll do a show on Friday, and then Monday's show will get pushed to Tuesday, and that'll be episode.
That'll
200.
be our NFL. That'll be the NFL preview.
We'll do that. I'll work on that over the weekend. Get that together. I have a draft, I think. I already did my first football draft. I did it on Saturday, and then I think I have another one this coming Saturday.
I have one on Thursday, and then I have the big one on Sunday.
Sweet. So you'll have all yours done. I think I'm gonna have all mine done.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, we could share some results. See how it came out.
We can talk a little fantasy football and stuff from time to time.
In
too.
one of them, which is the big one, is a keeper league.
Ooh.
I opted.
Got a little chill
So
Gotta
here's
chill.
how this works. You can keep, as long as he wasn't kept the year before, you can keep a guy that you drafted in rounds 1 through 8, and then one guy that you drafted in rounds 9 through 15, or you can keep 2 guys drafted in rounds 9 through 15. So here's what I kept. And I didn't want to because I don't like keeping Patriots, especially because I don't trust Bill Belichick with running backs, but I thought it was good to secure a running back. So with my 6th pick, so in other words, is a keeper. So in other words, I won't have a 6th round pick this year because this will be the guy. But I took Sony Michel. So Sony Michel, who right now, as an average draft, is kind of going in the 4th, 5th rounds. So there's some decent value there. And then I took, for my 15th pick, because it was a guy I picked off of waiver wires last year, I kept Lamar Jackson. Because you know what? I don't think I'm going to start Lamar Jackson. He'll be a backup. But I like his potential as far as being able to be a guy who might be able to throw for 3,000 yards and maybe rush for 1,000 yards. So you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have a breakout year. We'll see.
It's a dark horse move.
Yeah. But it's a low risk one because he's at least a good backup quarterback on a fantasy team. You know. Because I could still win with a guy, maybe I pick a guy like Breeze or somebody like that, that ends up being your starter. But I'd feel pretty good about having Lamar Jackson out there. So I don't love these picks, but I wasn't a very good team last year, so this is kind of the best I had to work with. There were other guys I could have kept. I could have kept Keenan Allen, and he would have cost me my 2nd rounder. But I'm thinking I could probably get Keenan Allen. Maybe even in the 3rd round because of where he's kind of going right now, his average draft pick. His ADP, as they call it. Is kind of in that late 2nd to early 3rd round area. So I could probably still get him back without even having to, use my 2nd pick on him.
Word.
So,
Word up. That's it for our show today. Episode 198 in the books. Thank you guys. No, not yet. Not yet. Slow down. Slow down, Tony. Slow down. Take it easy, Tony. I still love you 3,000, but slow down.
Thank
you. You can find our show, facebook.com/Shane and the Bri Man, or on Twitter @Shane and Bri Man. Hit us up there, talk to us, speak to us, throw some topics at us, whatever you want to do. You can do that. You can also email us at shaneandthebryman@gmail.com. And you can find me on Twitter @EinhornusFinkel.
You can find me on Twitter at _Bri_man.
And now
and now we've reached the end of our show. And of course, as the late, great Tony Stark said, part of the journey is the end. And so we will see you next week. Or no, we'll see you this week. Sorry, on Friday. So stay classy, Planet Globe.
And then we'll be back Tuesday. Friday and Tuesday. No Monday next week.
Tuesday, big NFL preview.
So if you want to make sure that you get our videos, make sure you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell.
I will at least have Super Bowl predictions.
Whoa.
For this coming. We're going to have division winners and Super Bowl winners.
You might.
I will.
I'm gonna have division picks, and that's pretty much it. We can do it the next week. Maybe a Friday we can do it because we got to keep it. We're gonna condense it. We're condensing stuff. Remember? So yes. Maybe we can do Friday. We don't want to
playoff
picks.
That one show?
You don't want to do that. So we'll do that on the next Friday.
Is blow our load a phrase that we can say without earmuffs? I don't know. Probably it's iffy.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Yeah. I'm with you, Pepper.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you again on Friday. Peace.
Bye.
Have fun, Clint, flying or whatever you're doing.
Travel safely.
Travel safe, dude. Peace out. Much love.